Hello, hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Borderline Podcast Disorder. Hope you had a good week, folks. Um, been been doing well myself. Um, kind of busy. No, actually, sorry, I'm lying. I wasn't that busy this week. Took some time off. It was my partner's birthday, and we just did some activities around the house. But it was just nice to enjoy the time off basically and relax. Slept a lot, and I'm recording this a little bit earlier than I normally would, although it's dropped on Monday as usual. I'm recording it before the weekend. That's because I'm going back to work on my day job Saturday, Sunday. So, you know, um, that's why I'm not going to address whatever has been going on for the weekend because I don't know what's going on yet. However, I hope you had a good weekend, you know, and yeah, coming back to what I've been up to this week. Again, we've been went to the driving range again after a very long time. It was an interesting experience. I wish I wasn't as bad as I am, but I realized I need to get back properly. Um, and again, it's just a lot of resting. Fell asleep numerous times on the couch during the last few days, and one of the things that I've noticed in the past few days, even weeks, and I'm quite happy with, is the sort of the acceptance. You know, the radical. I wouldn't even say radical acceptance in this case, but just the acceptance. Skills I've used a lot, and I kind of figured. Um, Again, I'm tired. If my body's tired, it's tired. I just gotta accept it. I just gotta go with it. I've noticed that for example, my lower back hurt in the gym the other day. And I was just trying to be as kind as possible. I used the belt throughout the entire um, weightlifting workout where, I felt like there would be a strain put on my back. Um, when I went in the sauna, I did some stretches and it worked. It worked a lot. And I've noticed that again, even on the days when I wake up with back pain and stuff like this, rather than getting angry about it like I used to, it was a thing I used to get very upset about with myself, very disappointed. Now I kind of just I started doing some stretches, started to I have a Shakti mat at home, so I put that under my lower back and I just sit for like 20-30 minutes. um, and it's working. It's really good, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. um, yeah, and it's quite nice. I think in that respect, um, I've learned a lot, or I've developed this muscle a lot of just being more content, with the things around me. What else should I mention? Oh yes, the on my social media, on my Instagram, more precisely, you will see I've posted a picture with the dates for the shows starting in September. Only 3 dates, so please, if anyone who's listening is from London, or is going to be in London September October time, check out my socials. And if you want to see me do comedy, as I get quite a few messages and I get quite a few inquiries of like, oh, when's your next gig? Well, this is the gig that's worth coming to, or like that's worth mentioning, because it's going to be 30 minutes of me doing my, I want to say my best work, but it might not be good, so I'll just say my work. I'll do 30 minutes, and the venues are great. There is the Camden Comedy Club and the Angel at the Bill Murray. So yeah, that's that. And now this week's guest is I want to say a friend of mine. We hang out a couple of times. We go and watch Leighton Orient a couple of times, and he's a lovely man. Peter Meary, not Pete, Peter. Merre is the topical comedian. He's heading to the Edinburgh Fringe this month in August, if depending on when you're listening to this. And again, if you are nearby, anywhere near Edinburgh, or if you're planning to go up for the festival, I definitely recommend you to. I would recommend to you to check out his show. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. Again, we've talked about having him on for a very long time. We finally managed to make the stars align, and yeah, we got to record together. And I hope you enjoy as much as we enjoyed recording. And yeah, I'll catch you at the end. That's it. Pete, we're live. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Much better than last week.
Well, yeah. Was it because of the heat? Like, was it like a heat?
I think it was a factor. Yeah, I don't know what it was exactly. And because I did the gig Monday night, came home, got back early hours. Man City or Chelsea was on in the middle of the night cup in America. So I watched that, fell asleep on a settee, went to bed. Next morning, I was just really bad. Couldn't work it out. Don't know why. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back.
Glad to be here,
in good shape and
Yeah.
have you on the podcast for the first time.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We talked about it.
Long
for
time we talked
a
about it.
while. Yeah.
Time. Yeah,
But
for 6 months.
I think it's a good timing though, right? Because you're heading to Edinburgh in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Edinburgh, 2nd of August, I think it is, the first Saturday of the month.
I think this is gonna air just before that. So
Perfect.
I mean,
Fantastic.
we'll make sure it's gonna air just before that. But
Mm.
yeah, how you feeling about Edinburgh?
Yeah, a mixture of excitement and nerves. I've still got a lot of admin to do and a lot of writing and editing to do. Put it in the right order. Got a preview the week before I go, or the few days before I go. So at least one preview, maybe more. Still got to organise those. So yeah, very excited.
Well, now for anyone who's listening that is not familiar with Pete. Should I say is it like you're a professional? Is it Peter or Pete?
Whatever's fine. Yeah.
No, but like again, like
on the stage, I think Peter probably. Yeah,
Peter. Well,
yeah.
we'll go again for this. Like, who's for anyone listening who's not familiar with you, who is if you want to give us a little description, because we'll go into more details
Sure.
as the podcast goes. But yeah, just a description of like who is Peter Merre.
Yeah, so I've been doing comedy for like properly for 10 years. I did it many years before. Did like a comedy course, did like radio broadcasting course many years ago. Followed it up with a comedy course, did the showcase, but I didn't gig regularly because I had an evening job and it was sort of like pre-internet, so it was very hard to kind of organise in them days, and you bought a physical copy of the Time Out and then you found where the gigs were.
No way.
So when I eventually started, because I got married, lived abroad, there wasn't really access to comedy there in my language, in our language. And so came back and I really need to start doing comedy again properly, do it properly. And when I started doing it properly, done a few workshops with some friends. And when I went out, the first month I went out and I just like gigged as much as I could. I'd done more gigs in that first month than I'd done in the previous 15 years.
No way.
Yeah, and that's the way you got to do it, and that's the way you got to do it to improve, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's just to do it, like I did someone at my gig last week, and she fluffed it a little bit, and I said just I wrote some notes down for her, and I got ill, so I haven't passed them on to her. But I said just gig as much as you can. If you're doing one gig a week's not enough, gig twice a week, gig 3 times a week. If you gig 4, take some time off work. And do like 4 or 5 gigs in a row, and you'll see. And if you do that regularly, rinse and repeat, you'll see the improvement.
Absolutely.
And also if you do die on stage, if you have a bad gig, if you're gigging again the next day, then the pain is less because you're constantly doing it.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like you don't have as much time to think about
exactly. Yeah,
like the cock up, because you're not like, oh my god, I had such a terrible week. No, it's not such a terrible. I had such a bad gig last week, last week, and now because the next gig is next week.
Exactly, it's playing on your mind for a week. But if you gig the next day, and also there's like other professional comedians and people I used to know and date. Say like say 11 o'clock the next morning, whether it was a good or a bad gig. 11 o'clock the next morning, move on to So you wake up in the morning, you reflect. It's a problem because I don't get out until after 11. But
yeah,
but, as a general rule,
yeah.
the next morning, maybe midday, cut off, and then think about the next gig and that.
Well, now we're gonna go through a couple of I have a couple of questions on this. The first one would be So what made you? Because you talked about like you've done the radio course, but then what again? Like what was your like train of thought? Like what was that because you saw a career in this, or is it because you're like, hey, I just want to do something that it's going to be fun? And also, did you do even when you did the radio course? Did you know that you're going to do comedy second, or did the comedy kind of like happen because you thought about it through the radio course or right after?
I think I thought about it because of the radio course. I mean, I always loved comedy on the television and started going to a bit of stand up in the 90s. I think basically, and also we had one local comedy club to where I lived, and then another two opened up. It was almost like we were the hub. It was like a triangle I was in the middle of these three local clubs: Comedy Caf, Jongleurs, and the Backyard, which is still there.
Yeah.
So maybe that intensified it. And then and like what I wanted to do. Oh, I really want to do comedy. So we went from the pro club, going to watch the pro clubs at the weekends, to using time out and going to watch the open mics during the week.
Yeah.
And thinking, I really want to get started. And I had this evening job, and most of the courses were evenings. It's like, can't do it. So I found a course that was on the weekends.
Right.
And I went from there, basically, yeah. But I didn't get started immediately. It was only until my second wind, when I didn't have an evening job and I could go out and gig every night almost.
And then, so was there a thought when you were a child, or when you first started again, was either, because what was it about the radio that attracted you to it? Was the actual talking on the radio, or like writing for the radio?
It's a good question. Yeah. Because it was like a fully production course, so it was like DJing, doing the music,
right.
In between the music, vox popping, interviewing people, news, like production, like reading the news in between the. So I suppose it was a bit of everything. So I suppose I wanted to get into radio, and I did the course, and then I did work placement in a small radio station in Thamesmead, which is not there anymore, unfortunately.
Where?
Thamesmead, southeast London.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
Near the prison. No,
Right.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know the area that well. It was really nice. It was nice to get involved. But, they were a fairly small station, but it was a great experience.
Yeah.
But then, pardon me, that won't come out, will it? You're gonna.
Don't worry.
He said he's going to edit it. So, bit of gas. So I came out of the work placement and the production course and I had like agency work, which was and an evening job, kind of all at once, and it kind of everything else took a back step. I had a couple kind of like 2-3 jobs for a couple of years, worked really hard, made some money. And then, it kind of took a back thing. I always used to go to watch comedy, and I was writing bits and pieces and that, so I was still motivated, but the time wasn't really there.
Got it.
And then, say like the evening job came to an end about after 8 years. Got married, lived abroad, and then sort of come back. It's like I still want to do it. Still want to take it seriously. So what I did is, and then I moved from a rented flat into my own flat, and it's like suddenly I've got to pay for everything, and it's like I won't buy a TV license. I won't have a TV, not evading TV license. I won't have a TV, no TV license. So I'll force myself to go out in the evenings and do the gigs,
Right.
And then I won't get a television until I've done 100 gigs. And I was in Edinburgh, doing my 100th gig. Went on stage, midnight gig, 5 past midnight. So one of my flatmates in Edinburgh had put me on, and went on stage and said to everybody, "Hey, this is my 100th gig." Nobody cares. Nobody gives a flying. So
You can swear, by the way.
I can swear. No one,
You can
no
swear.
one gives a fuck. So it's a late night gig. You know what I mean? 5 minute spot, like, you know. So done that. So then I was in Edinburgh when I'd done my 100th gig. So it's like, and I went in the end. I went 6 years without television, and I only got my television back during COVID.
During COVID, yeah, 4 years
watch
ago.
Match of the Day mainly. That was it, really. Yeah, and
Right,
yeah.
but then when well, this is again another thing, because if you were like doing the 100 gig in Edinburgh,
Yeah, I mean that wasn't designed to be like that. It was just it just
it just happened.
Just
for
happened.
it.
Yeah, you know.
But still, like but I guess actually not. I think I answered my own question thinking about it, because I thought, again, you were into comedy. You always thought about it for a long time. So already you had that path in mind where you were like, hey, you know what? It's kind of like, you know, the next, like, again, the things that you do next once you start doing comedy, and once you started having like a bit of like material put together. And I imagine, you know, I mean, you've been taking notes before you got here, just for like how do you do writing wise? Like, is that how you actually write? Like, are you like an active writer as well, or
Yeah, I suppose I am. I gotta say yes or no, but I suppose I am. Yes, I am. Because I'm doing mainly topical at the moment. It's like I wake up in the morning and I've got emails on my phone from newspapers, so BBC, whatever.
Yeah.
And, immediately, like, you know, I'm listening to the radio as I'm doing it, speech radio, as I'm doing it. So. I mean, in the old days, you'd go and buy a newspaper, or go to the library, sit in the library, go through newspapers and that. But now it's kind of almost immediate; it's on your phone straight away. So I'd like to have a sort of system where I just sit down and write. But mostly at the moment, it's, you know, a voice note on the phone, or a phone note. And then, you know, once you're preparing to go on stage, you kind of pre-edit them, you know, all that sort of thing. I will need to do that before Edinburgh, like in the next couple of weeks. But
and then now you are now you're like, okay, cool. So this is the plan is I go to Edinburgh next. What was it like? What was like the first Edinburgh? Was it? I mean, have you been there to?
I've been
to like visit during the Fringe as well, or was that your first time?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I went there as a punter the first couple of years, like a weekend. Second or third year, I went as a reviewer.
Wait, what's a punter?
Punter, an audience.
Oh, audience member. Okay, right.
Yeah. Punter, I went there to have a bet on a horse. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do
That's what I thought, because I was like, I think I heard punter, and I was like, what, you like gambling on the which show is gonna do better?
Yeah. There should be a betting thing for you know, because people with inside information, like, he's doing really well on the circuit. We should back him.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, like, what are the odds?
Back alley. He's really good. You've interviewed him anyway, you know. But
yes, Ali Woods.
You know, of course, Ali. So where was we? So so I've been as a punter, been as an audience member to absorb it, you know, sort of thing, and get a feel for it, you know, and do like watch shows like back to back sort of thing. So the second or third year, I went as a reviewer,
right,
for a very small website that was mainly reviewing in London. He also ran a gig in London,
right.
So that was a good experience, and you get into gigs without paying, of course. That's a good experience, and you're writing about gigs, so you're studying how they do it, sort of thing as well. But you know, you've got a producer,
interesting
website and that. So so and I went for like 6 years in a row, like just a week or a weekend. I only reviewed for about 2 of those, so I went back to being a audience member till 2006, and then I got married and didn't go for many years. Very sad. Missed Edinburgh for many years because I met the girl on at the end of August.
Right.
I don't know if I'd been to Edinburgh that year, but and then when we got married, I said, "Hey, why don't we get married on the day that we met?" And then I thought to myself, "Oh no, it's in August. Oh damn." Oh damn! Damn!
Did you two actually have an August wedding?
Yeah, got married on the day we
right.
Met, yeah,
so you actually did like it happened. You were married in August.
5 years to the day actually. Yeah, 5 years to the day that we met. Yeah, so never went to Edinburgh for a long time because we lived abroad, lived in Istanbul. So so I did that for like so, and then when I came back, I started gigging in 2015. Did the 100th gig in Edinburgh 2016.
Yeah.
But mainly 2016 I was working in Edinburgh. I was flying for an old boy called Ivor Dembina and doing the door for his gigs. And then when he had the Sundays off, my Edinburgh flatmate and me, we did the gig on the Sunday. We did a compilation show on the Sunday.
Oh,
So we got a little bit of stage time because he didn't give me a lot of stage time either, but he did give me a lot of experience from flyering, which I still do. I still fly for people.
no way.
Still fly for people in Edinburgh. Yeah, it's a good way of breaking even in Edinburgh. A lot of people talk about losing money at Edinburgh. It's a good way of breaking even, and I'm good at it. Obviously, I'm good at flying, and I'm going to try and write a book about flying. I've been
No way.
writing down notes for many years, sort of thing. I just need to get organised because people need to know how to fly well.
How did you? Is that something that I guess is like some? Although don't spoil too much. You want to keep it, for the book, but
for the book, yeah.
Do you think it's something that you were born with, or?
I mean, I've done sales work for most of my life,
right,
marketing work,
yes.
and all that. So you've got to talk to the punters anyway. You've got to talk to audiences. You've got to talk to people in the street because, and other friends have sort of compared it either to MCing or improv,
right.
Because on the street, like you don't know what someone's going to say to you.
Yeah.
But you've got, if you're flying for one particular show, your own show or one particular show, you've just got to sell the. I'm not looking at that, but
no. But in case you wanted to write.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I might write.
That's right. Yeah.
Write something at some point. Yeah. If you've got like some bullet points, the show's about
X, Y, or Z.
X, Y, Z. The show's about. I was going to say Israel, but I don't want to get too controversial. Got no either way. The show's about cats and dogs, sort of thing.
Right.
I did flyer for my friend who had a show about. Was it cats and dogs or just dogs or cats? I think it was cats. My friend David Tassonis had a show about cats, and I was stopping people. It's a tough sell, for a lot of people. They're either going to like it or they're not. Or they're going to have a keen interest in cats or they're not. And I was telling people, come and see the show before it goes to Hollywood, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you exaggerate a little bit because you're doing it. You're lying, but you're doing it with a smile on your face. They know that you're messing about.
Yeah.
And they like your enthusiasm. And they think, you know what, I'm going to see the show. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So you can't be completely, can't lie completely. I had one guy. He'd done a little bit of stuff on Radio 4, so I said he was like the Queen's favourite comedian and all that.
No way.
And he said to me, no, don't do that. When she was still alive,
Yeah.
This is about 2022 must have been before she died. Yeah. So but you just like people see that you're having fun in the street and all that. They kind of think, oh, he's got some good energy. But most of the time I'm flying for someone else rather than for myself. So.
And then then if you were flying for someone else, who was flying for you?
Yeah, this is the problem. It's like I end up wearing myself out and not flying enough for myself because I've been there I've been Edinburgh for many years. Like you take the 6 out when I was a punter and a reviewer. I've been since 2016, 16, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25. But I've only done 2 solo shows so far. Third one this year. So we did flyer for our split shows and our compilation shows.
Right.
But there's less pressure when you fly in for a compilation show, as it were, and that. When it's your own solo show, it's like But obviously I meet other flyers, and there's the girl who's very good, who didn't fly for me last year because she was already booked for other people, but. Maybe she'll fly for me this year. I need to message her, So you meet all the other good flyers and
so then
recruit them basically.
But basically, is this?
But she's not a comedian, but she's very good at what she does. So in a way, I think you've got to be a good. I mean, comedians should be the best. You should be the best person to fly for your own
show. Yeah.
Next one would be a comedian.
Yeah.
The next one would just be someone who's very interested in comedy and good work ethics. Because some of the students. They're just like giving you a flyer. That's not that's not flyer in. That's just distributing. That's just giving flyers away.
Yeah.
If you stop me in the street, what's your show about? Then if I can give you,
information,
a tweet about your show, sort of thing, 40 words, sort of thing. That should sell the show, basically.
But that also sounds quite cool, and I've never heard this before, where it's like almost a network of flyers, and
there is.
You almost
there is. Yeah. And funny enough, the other 2, and I kind of sort of say I'm in the top 3, but like without saying I'm the best, but the other 2 are not comics. That's interesting, yeah.
Huh.
So it's interesting, but I think they're both Edinburgh based, so they're they're invested in the city. They understand the Fringe. I think you've really got to understand the Fringe or comedy, to do it up there.
And then when you say now to understand the Fringe, I'm quite curious. Although I want to ask you more questions about you, but I want to again because it's like
the Fringe is much more interesting.
well, no, but it's almost like it sounds like it's on theme as well, you know, because I'm gonna release it at the beginning.
Yeah, no, exactly.
August, so
exactly.
it's a good time to ask.
Tag it Edinburgh Fringe. Everyone will hopefully watch it. And
It's a good time to ask you this question.
Absolutely. I love Fringe. You know,
You're talking about how did you, what was your experience? Because you talk about like you have to understand the Fringe, you have to, what was the word I used?
Understand the Fringe.
To be involved. No. You said
invested because they're both from Edinburgh. The other two, you know.
But
they're not comics. That's interesting.
How did you get Did you get invested in the Fringe? Because again, like that's someone who hasn't, you know, not being born here. Coming in England, I didn't even when I started comedy, I had no idea what the Edinburgh like when I remember the first year doing comedy, and people were like, "Oh, are you going to the Fringe?" And I was like, "Am I going where?" You know. So now again, that's my you know story like that. That's how again like that's me not knowing anything about it. How did you get? Again, were you into it because you got into again? Were you watching it, or did you have access, or like was it a thing as if you're watching, say, like comics on telly in England, for example, you hear people on radio? Would that be like a brag that this person is being like at the Edinburgh Fringe, or like is won award, like has been nominated for anything at Edinburgh Fringe? Or how did you first got to get into it?
The first time I heard about it, I was working in a newspaper shop in the city. It's one of my free jobs
right.
At that point, you know, and obviously I'd done the comedy course, done the radio course, hadn't done the comedy course at that stage, done the radio course, and we had all it was the biggest news agents in the city of London, and we had all the different newspapers, and we had the Scotsman, and the other Scottish, the Daily Record and that, but the Scotsman had like a separate supplement for the Fringe thing and that, so like arts, culture, Fringe, you know. That was the sort of first time I ever found out about the Fringe, really, you know, because you watch it on the telly, you watch like I'm not going to say Dar O'Brien because I didn't see him. I first saw him at the Fringe, didn't see him on television. Somebody like maybe Paul Merton, Frank Skinner, Harry Hill. I'd seen them on television in the 90s.
Yes,
they all basically evolved from the Fringe. You know, they was obviously doing the London circuit, doing the national circuit. But I mean, if you read Frank Skinner's first book, he was a teacher and he went to the Fringe for a stage show, a theatre show. And obviously the rest of the day he was out watching comedy. And he'd never performed comedy. And this is the 90s, so it's before like things are a bit different now.
Yeah.
And he said, so he booked himself a venue for the following year, a year ahead.
Yeah.
You can't do that now. He booked himself a venue for having never performed stand-up.
Yeah.
Never performed stand-up. So like he had he gave himself a year deadline to do it in London or Birmingham where he was based. And he went back the following year and won the Fringe. I think he won it the first year. I'm pretty sure.
No way.
He won it the first time, yeah.
That is really. I had no idea about this. And
yeah.
That's quite. That's a cool story.
It's a cool story. Yeah, cool story, bro.
But now let's. I want to talk about your story. Yeah, let's. Congratulations are in order, but so you've got into going to the Fringe. You're watching the Fringe, and then again you're doing the reviewing, and now you start doing your own show. You were talking about the you know the I think the stakes are like, you know, because you're saying before, like the first few times when you went there you didn't have your own show, so
I had a compilation show or a split show, like
compilation,
three of us doing 20. The first 2 years was three of us meant to be three of us doing 20, and one of them kind of dropped out on the second year, so it became a bit of a compilation show where a guest would take the third spot, you know, and they didn't necessarily do 20, they done more like 10 or 5 sort of thing. So we would put friends on, as it were.
So with that in mind, what I was going to ask you is, have you noticed, although again, like what was it like to deal with that perhaps pressure of like, again now, again from on the last 2 years that you've done your own show.
Yeah.
Because like you said, now you're going there. Your plan is to again at least split even for the month and make sure that you're not losing, especially like as much money as other people talk about losing.
Yeah.
But then now you're kind of like, well, you still want to do the flyering, because that's what that's kind of like, it's right, you're getting paid from someone.
Absolutely.
So it's like, okay, you already know that this is the money that you're making.
Yeah.
But you're also trying to push your own show.
Yeah, it's a lot more pressure. It's a lot more pressure. If you've never been to the Fringe,
No.
So if you went next year or this year and said, right, I'm going to do 23 solo shows,
Right.
you'd be putting yourself right in the frying pan, because you've never been to Edinburgh. So you don't. So what I've done it A, as a punter, as an audience member, B, reviewer, C, as a split show. So we did 3 of us doing 20. You could do it. 6 of you do 10. 6 acts. Share a flat.
Yeah.
Share a venue. You do each of you do 10 minutes every night, and then some of you do the flyering, some of you do the online stuff, some of you do the posters, some of you do speak to the press, some of you do the door, some of you do the tech, and all that. So you spread the workload.
Yeah.
The next year you do 4 of you do 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
Third year you do 3 of you do 20 minutes each. The fourth year 2 of you do half an hour each. Is there someone there? Feels like there's someone there. It might be your cats. I don't know. If you want to pause it, I don't know.
Yeah, no, sorry. Please continue. So you're saying that it's almost like you're talking about the structure of like, you start first.
The structure, yeah.
6.
So if you could start with 6 of you doing 10. You could start with 4 of you doing 15. Your level of confidence, maybe your level of ability down in London or wherever you're based, and then you go to the Fringe. So by the time you get to 3 of you doing 20, 2 of you doing half an hour each, you're splitting the show. You know how Edinburgh works. You know that whether it's raining or whether there's a tech issue, whether it's an online issue, you've kind of got that information in your head as experience from previous festivals. So if there is a setback, you kind of know how to deal with it. You're not going to know how to deal with everything, and that and the venues I work with, PBH, Peter Buckley Hill, Free Fringe, are brilliant as well. There's a network of people there as well that you can kind of lean on if you've got got an issue. Like there's a team leader for every venue, so PBH is really good.
Interesting.
So by the time you get to doing it, like whether it's year 3, 4, or 5, you get to doing your solo show, you've kind of got the previous experience. It doesn't mean you're gonna everything that's gonna happen. You've got a solution,
but
you're a little bit more experienced.
Yeah.
If you went there year 1 and did an hour show, without say an agent, manager, team behind you, it would be difficult to do it on your own. So definitely do it as a split compilation show with friends, share the accommodation, all that sort of thing.
So then now for you is pretty much because actually then now I've realized that again the pressure, although it was still there, it's not as much because you're kind of like, oh, I've seen this before. Like,
exactly.
Maybe not in the precise way, but in a different way, and you're like, oh, I like you said, because I think you mentioned the whole thing about like, even because actually that's another thing that I want to ask you about the promote, not just the promoting stuff, but even like, finding, because you're talking about like, you're finding a team, or like at least you're finding even people to gig with, you're finding
absolutely. Yeah.
You're talking about how even I think because you said like when you first started doing comedy, not like let's say not like the for real start, which was 10 years ago, but you're talking like it was pre-internet, or like you had to buy, maybe you're saying the Times,
Time Out magazine,
Time Out. Okay, Time Out. So you'd buy Time Out, and you'd like that's how you'd figure out who's got a gig, or not even who's got a gig, but where is the gig and how to get on and stuff like this. Now that's not the case anymore. But then how did you feel, with the transition at the time? Because you almost feel, like, were you at any point, or even now, are you like, oh, damn, man, that's like, if this was, again, like, if say, like, the social media that it is now was, then.
Yeah, it made it much easier. When I started again, like 2015, Facebook. And in between that time, obviously I lived abroad, but in between that time, I was working the door of my friend's gig, and he was booking the pro acts, and I was booking the open spots, like the ones.
No way.
Yeah, like the gig's not running anymore, unfortunately. The venue's still there, but someone else has tried to running it now. But the management of the pub changed, and then they said, "Oh, you can't put posters up." and they ruined it basically. But because he was getting really big names in, and selling like 150 seats.
No way.
And I was sort of saying, I'd been to an open mic and I say, look, this guy's really good. You should book him for the open spot, sort of thing, you know, with my recommendation, sort of thing. So
That's so.
so I was still keeping my eye in. As it were. Again, writing stuff, getting stuff on the radio.
Yeah.
But not going on stage. So eventually, like I say, I come back from living abroad, and eventually got on stage and just gigged as much, made up for all the lost time basically by just gigging almost every night. You know, for that first few months, you know, aiming to do the 100, as it were.
Yeah.
Like a cricket, I've got to get to 100. And then when I came back from from 2016 Edinburgh, I started hosting gigs, emceeing gigs, because I'd done the comedy course, done an MC course, I should say.
Yeah.
And went from there basically. Yeah, and that was yeah.
Now, question: because you're doing. I know you're doing the. You're doing topical comedy.
Topical, yeah.
Obviously, there has to be some observations because I think that
Yeah.
kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
Have you, because of your like experience of living overseas,
Yeah.
has that changed your observation, or no, does that impact, I think not change, but does that impact your observations, or even the way you see, because obviously you're like very, very like London, very English, very British. I don't know what's but I'm not saying in a good way,
No,
like
no, I
a
agree.
really,
It's
really
fine.
cool way.
It's fine.
But then you see that's the thing. Now it's almost like you have a perspective of someone who, say that again, if I think of someone born and raised right in East
born and
London,
raised, yeah.
you wouldn't think that, oh, they've lived in Turkey for a few years, so
Yeah,
they must have like seen how like a Turkish market is, and then come back to
Yeah.
and then start, and then now when you again, when have you noticed that when you started writing, you were perhaps like the way you're observing things was, like you had almost something to compare it with, because obviously like, people complain, and I think London is chaotic.
Yeah, London's chaotic.
But for people who have been, and again, I've only been on holiday, but for people who imagine living in Istanbul,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that's another type of chaos.
Istanbul is chaotic. Yeah, especially the bridges. Oh, the bridges are chaos.
So that's what basically
getting from A to B in a hot car. The weather
As
is like
well.
the weather we're experiencing in London in July 2025 at the moment. For people listening in 100 years' time, the weather we're experiencing now is what they get in Istanbul almost every week, every day. Almost. But and if you can imagine a long car journey where you got to go over one of the bridges, and there might be one of the big football teams are playing at home. It's unbelievably bad there. Yeah, they've got the river as well, and they use the river as a transport method better than we use the Thames.
Yeah.
If we could use the Thames more for transport, would be amazing.
Yeah, that's true actually.
But my friend sort of we went to the O2 recently to watch Pulp, and my friend said, he lives in sort of you probably gigged with him, Steve. He lives in like sort of Chelsea or Earls Court, and he said, I'll probably jump on the
Uber
bus,
boats or
Uber boat, maybe.
Right,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
thought, oh, cool, man, that's cool. I wish I could probably do that with you, but obviously I'm nearer to the O2 as it is. So if we could do that, and if they made it competitively priced, you can imagine. I tried to cycle. I was saying to your missus before she left, Irene. I tried to cycle everywhere, and and I avoid the central line, but I've used the central line all my life, so I know what it's like. But if they could take like 20% of the people on the underground onto the river at rush hour, that would make so much difference, wouldn't it?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? That'd be amazing.
And you could technically get
They
people
made it the same sort of price,
who live in like East London that could just go on, say, the boat to get into Central London.
Canning Town to like sort of thing. Yeah, they could do.
I think that'll be better, because I actually like off topic, but the DLR I think is the worst of them, because it's so tiny and it gets full like
I don't use it much during rush hour, but
I think again, even when it's not rush hour, it feels like quite tiny and strange and very slow, so slow.
Okay, I don't find
Right?
it slow.
No?
But not really. No,
Well, you see, this is the thing where I find it super interesting when people who, again, with like different experiences, because again, to me, like, have you been to, I mean, I think I don't remember if I've seen the like does Istanbul have the underground?
Yes, but it's not. I mean, they have, yeah.
Well, 'cause I
It's
was
not
gonna-
as probably far-reaching as It's almost like little bits of Istanbul are like South London, where there's no underground.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
there's overground and that. So it's like you've kind of got to get to where
Because
you want to be by. What they have got in Istanbul that we haven't got here is like I think it's called like the Dolmus, where it's like a shared taxi. Like a minibus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With about 6 people, 8 people, whatever, maybe
Yeah.
12, and they're all going to roughly the same place.
Yeah, we used to have that in Romania as
Yeah,
well.
that reminds me.
Yeah.
Like we'd get on at Woodford, and we'd say, I mean, Woodford to Holborn's probably too far. Let's say to Leytonstone. We get on at Woodford, and we say, Leytonstone, please, for football or for Saturday, for the match Saturday. And then 6 of us, get off at Leytonstone, and then the other 6 go on to Leyton, but another 6 get on. So if they had some sort of share, I know they've got Uber shares nowadays.
Yeah,
I've never used. I don't really use Uber, but I use Bolt occasionally.
I've never, not never, but I haven't used Uber for years.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I know they've got Uber shares now, haven't they? So
I've
they've
heard about
kind
it,
of
yeah.
gone into that way. But as far as I'm aware, so without using it, it's just like 4 people in a taxi, isn't
Yeah.
it? But in Istanbul, they've actually got like minibuses, and people make a living doing that. And good luck to them, sort of thing,
Yeah, that's
And again,
exactly
it would
how it used to
took
be.
people off the underground, and just to ease that sort of rush hour thing, which I hardly ever use now. But
Well, what?
It's still an issue.
God, I forgot what I was going to ask you. Yes, yes. Talking about the no, because basically the reason why I asked you about the underground is because, like, I don't know if you've been to. Oh yeah, talking about like the DLR, although it's technically not an underground.
no,
really.
overground.
It's overground.
Mm.
But basically, the trains in like all in Bucharest and even like in Prague, or I think pretty much anywhere in Eastern Europe at least, they are super fast.
Yeah,
If
okay.
I don't know if you took like an underground again. Like, if you've been to
I've been
Prague,
to
for
Prague,
example?
but not recently. But I don't think we use the underground.
Like it's that fast that you have to hold on to something because it just takes you. It can take you like from one end of the carriage to the other if you're not either seated or holding on to the rails.
If you ever get a chance to interview Yuriko Katani, she talks about the Japanese system, underground and train system. Comparing it to the British and that, because she's lived here maybe 10 years now.
In England.
In England, I think she lives in North London. I think
Oh, really? She's in London.
She's won like BBC Best Newcomer sort of thing.
That I know, but I didn't know she still lives in.
I think she does. I haven't seen. I mean, I normally see her in Edinburgh. I haven't really bumped into her. I don't really bump into her in London, but I'm going to try and book her actually for because she's North London and my gig's in Northwest London. So and I'm just very happy because we booked a big name yesterday. So
well done.
So that's going to help. People see that I've booked this name. They'll say, "Oh, that's good."
No, absolutely. I mean, again, I want to touch on that a little bit as well.
Sure.
But let's talk. Let me ask you another question about you first.
Sure.
Because I was going to ask you. I was going to say, like, actually, it does.
We're going off in all the different.
The poster looks good, but and I was going to say, like, it looks like it's building up into something.
It really, it really feels like it, especially the last few days.
Well, might as well. I might as well ask you now, because again, because when you basically, because I've done it, I think in one of the first few, maybe second or third.
Yeah,
it was like after or like during a bank holiday, I think.
Was it a bank holiday? Yeah,
wasn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah. We're still finding our way at that stage, but
but then was that like your goal now when you're like, oh, I'm getting back to like running? Because I know you've run other comedy nights in the past.
Yeah. It's like 2016, 2019. I was running like at one point 4 venues, at one point.
And that with this night as well, was that like your goal in mind? Because now it looks like again it's looking solid and it's looking like it's
now I'm back in it. I mean, I always wanted to perform like gig regular, but I kind of got sidetracked through COVID, and B through hosting pub quizzes, which pays money, and I enjoyed doing them and I'm good at them and they pay. So like I kind of, but in the end, at one point I was doing 5 quizzes a week, like which is great money.
Yeah,
just approaching Edinburgh like this time last year or 2 years ago. But obviously I want to be doing comedy. So in the end, I've negotiated with one of the pubs where I did the quiz.
Yeah.
To host the comedy there in a separate room, and it works. And we talked about it for a few months, and like all that, and then eventually it happened. And the pub, he's confident with it. He's the managers at the pub's backing it.
Yeah,
he's in the budget for advertising, flyers,
posters. Yeah.
rolling banner, which like every gig's got a rolling banner. So like we've gone 13 weeks without a rolling banner, but we're finally getting there. So
Nice.
yeah, it's really coming together, and obviously now we're gonna do three big Edinburgh previews, including mine, 2.5 maybe, and we're gonna break for 4 weeks for Edinburgh. So realistically, September we're gonna push on with it.
Yeah, which is a good time because I think that again, I feel like when it also cools down a bit, people are
Weather, exactly,
come back indoors
exactly.
and stuff like that.
And we found our system. I've got a great girl helping me with the posters and the online stuff, which if it was just me doing it would be impossible, difficult. So she's invested in it. She wants to get into comedy photography, so it's helped for her. We're a perfect match to run it together. So between us, we're finding what works, and the pub supporting us, the management in the pub supporting us. So it's almost like the happy medium. We're all kind of synced in. But it took time.
And you know what? Actually, because talking about this from again, even like a well-being perspective, because I've noticed from other people who are running their own gigs and who are again, which are say like they're not. I'm not talking about comedy venues, as in like comedy. Again, like buildings that
like
are
rooms
for
in
the
pub,
purpose. Yeah, rooms in pubs, exactly.
Yeah, rooms in pubs, yeah.
The getting the support from the management and stuff like that, it's
so important.
Such a huge thing.
So important.
So basically, that was my question was in regards again to connect it to well-being was it must feel good getting that, finding a place, because I know that there are places which are we have a room, you just do it, or like it's kind of like there you go, we're gonna do almost nothing about it, but then if it doesn't go well,
pretty much,
your head is your neck is gonna be chopped.
And first. The one you did with me last year after the Fringe, the one in Leighton, they were a little bit like that.
Oh right, yes.
And it's such a shame because it's obviously Leighton, and it obviously holds a big figure in my heart for the football. So to do, and it's East London, and it's easy to get home from. If that would have took off, would have been amazing, but they wasn't supportive of it. So, I did five gigs there, and planned 5 gigs, and moved on. After that, they wanted to charge me,
which is a shame,
It was a shame, it was a shame. But they've got their own agenda to things to sort out, And so
this is what I'm like, again, because it's almost like.
Because you emceed one of those, didn't you? And and you met your hero there. You met your hero, my good friend.
Which was really cool. I really, really enjoyed it, and I still I talk about it sometimes. People are like, "What a random thing,"
Yeah.
Because I also remember that I think at first I was meant to just do a spot.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're like, "Oh, do you mind the emceeing?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool, I'll do it." And then. Like Dragos Mostanescu is like in the front row.
In the front row.
It's like I know this guy. Yeah, I was like, I know the face. I've seen the face before many years.
And he didn't come to perform. He came to watch me because I've helped him with so many shows, and he's helped me.
I mean, I've seen he did your gig.
Yeah, he did it about 2 weeks ago.
The canal.
And he headlined. Yeah.
But I want to ask you now. Coming, actually, we need to touch a little bit on the. On your love for East London and for the O's.
East London, the football.
Yeah, how so? Because then, are you from Ireland?
I'm from Bethnal Green.
Bethnal Green,
yeah.
So you're born in Bethnal Green, grew up in Bethnal Green.
Yep.
Question, because this is one of the things that, again, like one of the I love the most and I respect the most, and I want to say as a new fan of the O's, because I've supported them for maybe 2-3 years now. Since since I moved to London.
Moved to the East London.
No, even before when I first moved to London, because I was like, I don't want to go for the
Premier League,
for a big, not just big, but for Premier
League. You don't want to go for the clubs owned by Russians and
not just that, but I just feel like, you know what, I think look, this is the thing. Tickets, I think they should be accessible for the fans.
Exactly.
I think you should be able to enjoy going to a game, not having to almost waste half of your day and to worry about every single bit of prices and again having to buy tickets that are if they are cheap, then they are like behind a pillar, or
Yeah, no,
something
exactly.
like that.
Oh, behind a pillar, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Restricted view.
Restricted view.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, yeah.
That,
Restricted view.
I don't think it's fair, and I think that's actually something that
QPR are known for selling tickets like that. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not surprised. Although a friend of mine is a fan of QPR,
Yeah,
but
I like QPR, but yeah.
but now, yeah, how did you get into? How did you get beautiful kits? By the way, sorry, I feel like I have to touch about QPR. I think their jerseys throughout
Okay,
the years
yeah.
they have
That's
some
right,
very
yeah.
very nice.
They
shirts.
keep it the same tradition, don't they? Like,
Well, yeah, and I think
like the hoops.
depending even like
hoops.
on their like shirts providers and stuff like that. Again, I because I love football shirts. I have loads of them and stuff like this. So I love looking at shirts.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
QPR is very. I think QPR is good for that. But anyway, so yeah, how did you get into following Leyton Orient?
Well, mainly because it was a London team, because like when you're growing up, you on the telly, you only see like the match of the day. And again, I'm a little bit older than you. There was only match of the day.
Yeah.
There was only like the Saturday night football, and the only live football was the FA Cup final.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, funny enough, when they started doing live matches, experimenting with live matches on BBC and ITV, one of them was QPR. I went to QPR with my friend. My friend from school was a QPR fan.
Yeah.
So we used to sort of like almost, so I used to go like one weekend we'd go QPR. So forgetting the live matches, one weekend we'd go QPR when we were still at school. 1 week we'd go Orient with my cousin rather than my mate, and then other weeks we'd do like Arsenal on a Saturday because the tickets were still affordable.
Yeah.
On Saturday. Never used to go West Ham because my cousin was a West Ham fan, still is a West Ham fan, but his mum wouldn't let him go West Ham because of the trouble. So we go Arsenal 1 week. Tottenham used to go sometimes like midweek,
right?
As kids, because like people at school was Tottenham fans, and Tottenham always seemed to be in Europe in them days. So we went a few classic Tottenham European.
No way.
Back in the 80s, and before you were born. And,
that's so cool.
And but then like tickets were affordable, but Orient had because I originally grew up supporting Liverpool. I don't talk about it, but so it's like I've got to support a local team, and my dad sort of worked in this big news agency in the city, so he brought home this thing of all the players and all the teams and the players. And,
no way.
And it's like Leyton Orient got a player from Bethnal Green. And it's on the central line. It's like Leyton, 3 stops away.
Yeah.
So that was a factor, being an East London team. Obviously, I could have supported West Ham. My sister supported West Ham. My cousin supported West Ham. But and we didn't really. I probably didn't know so much about the trouble in them days. But obviously, West Ham have got a big reputation, and that's all the films. They made all the films about it, about all the football hooliganism. So I suppose Orient was just a sort of like the right choice for me, really, like central line. Player from Bethnal Green, and went from there really, and obviously when you're young, you just go to the local games, and went to a Southend away match where we got a lift from. I think it was like the Orient youth team, I think. And then,
no way.
And went to Barnet a few times. My mum's work team played at Barnet. And so, like, historically, the two away grounds I've been the most is Barnet and Southend because they're our big rivals.
Yeah.
Dagenham a few times. But Brentford, when they were a League One team or a smaller team.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Before they got foreign finance. I think it's Russian, I'm not sure.
Nobody talks about it. That's quite.
No one talks about Brentford, do they? Yeah, it's like, Brentford are a big success, The only, good luck to them, but really they're the same level as us. But they did it with one of our players, their manager Dean Smith. He was one of our players. He was our centre half.
Yeah,
and he was number 2 in the youth coaching setup to our manager Martin Ling, and then they became first team manager and coach or assistant manager, and then 2009 we had a bad run, and the chairman got rid of Martin Ling and Smith as manager, and Smith went his own way and went from Walsall to Brentford, and he took Brentford into the Premier League, and then he went to Aston Villa, which is his hometown club. Dean Smith's hometown club, Aston Villa. So good luck to Dean Smith. I randomly went to a funeral with him over not far from here.
No way.
Yeah, the same day. Like we was at a family funeral, and he was at the funeral before us. But I never spoke to him. But it's not the right occasion. But
True,
when he was still a player, that was 2002. But yeah, good luck to him because he was always a great player for us. And the only thing is he's never managed us. I think at some point,
That'd be nice.
he might come back and manage Orient, but I think we need to be championship level, which we were so close to being. But there you go.
That would have been amazing. I think I was very.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in one hand, you know what? It's such a nice. I genuinely think that Leyton Orient and like looking into it and like even the history of the fan base and stuff like this, it looks like such a nice club to
totally.
support.
Totally.
So I'm very happy with my choice.
Yeah, you did well.
Thank you. But now I want to ask you because obviously like you've been supporting them for again a long time.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you obviously you were with your wife at the time moving to Istanbul, but was it that like how like what was that like as a decision wise, or like even just like living countries, because have you before that, besides of I guess holidays, have you been living anywhere but Britain?
Besides holidays,
yeah, like besides of like I'm not talking about like going a week on holiday or something like that. Have you actually lived in a different country before Turkey?
Only when I was married, yeah.
And then again now you're kind of like again going to even football wise because you love football.
Yeah.
That's a different football culture.
Yeah. I went to Fenerbahce a lot. Went
really?
to Beşiktaş a few times. Went to Galatasaray. The only time we went to the Galatasaray Stadium was a national match.
Right.
And it was the same night that England lost at home to Croatia.
Oh, the Paul Robinson.
I think it was Robert Green. Was it? It was definitely a goalkeeper mistake. And Steve McLaren was on the touchline with the umbrella, the Wally with the volley. It was the same night as that. Turkey qualified for the 2008
Euros, yes.
2008 Euros. And they'd done very well in the 2008 Euros. They finished third.
Yeah.
Finished third. 2-0 down to Czech Republic in the quarter, and they still managed to get through. So that's the only time I went to the old Galatasaray Stadium. The new Galatasaray Stadium looks amazing. I've never been to it. But yeah, we went to Fenerbahce quite regular, European football, saw Roberto Carlos score. And oddly enough, Fener had an East London connection because they had Colin Kazim Richards.
Oh, yeah.
And he grew up near here. He grew up in Walthamstow, Chingford.
No way.
He was born at Whipps Cross, and he was playing for Bury, in Division 4, League 2, whatever they were calling it back then. And he won a competition from Coca-Cola, and he was called the Coca-Cola Kid. And Bury paid Coca-Cola paid his transfer fee from Bury to Brighton. But even then, Brighton wasn't a Premier League team at the time. I don't know how he did it. Was it Brighton? It was Brighton. I'm sure it was Brighton. And because he's half Turkish, he's like a black guy with a black dad and a Turkish mum. And because he was playing in the Premier League, Fenerbahce signed him, and he was in the national team. And he was from East London. I've got Orient friends who went to school with him. Kirsty. And it's like they say, "Oh, so."
The thing is, I remember because I used to play a lot of FIFA back then.
Yeah,
he was a gem in FIFA, but he's never managed to become live up to the standard, basically.
So after Fener, he came back and played for Blackburn in the Premier League.
Brighton, you're right. And
Brighton,
he went to Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah.
Then he went to Fenerbahce. Then he went to France, Toulouse. France again.
Blackburn. I remember he scored the winning goal for Blackburn at Arsenal in the Cup.
Blackburn. Yeah.
Ascot that day.
After he came from Galatasaray.
And then he went back to Galatasaray, which is like, again, it's like Celtic Rangers. You don't do it. Tottenham, Arsenal. Very few players do it.
I think it's a bit.
But he did it.
To be honest, I think it's a bit, that's just his. But I think it's a bit different, with Fenerbahce, especially for foreigners, because I know I've noticed this in Romania as well. Like I think it's more acceptable as a foreign player, because technically, although he played,
but he played for the national team. He's not proper Turkish, but he's a little bit.
because
You know?
I
He's
think
like me. He's like an East London Turk.
the alliance is not the same for the club.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I
But
mean,
I-
it was like Fenner signed a lot of Brazilians when I was there.
Yeah.
They had 5 Brazilians.
If
in
you
the
remember,
team.
Alex
And
was
Zico.
amazing.
Alex de Souza, what a player!
Yeah.
Probably the best player in the world at that point. And then obviously never got the credit. Alex de Souza, fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. And they had the Turkish national team were doing well at that time.
Yeah.
And also Fenner did really well. They got to the quarterfinal of the
Champions League?
and they lost to
Yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah.
And I think we beat Chelsea 2-1 and Kazim scored. He was on the bench. On the bench and he came on. And I texted my friend who in the other side of Istanbul,
Yeah.
who's a Besiktas fan. And I said, Kazim's going to score.
I also support Besiktas.
Colin's going to score, yeah. And he did. He got. I think they got a winner. Chelsea won the second match, the second leg, 2-0. 2-0 went through. But I mean, and we was on the streets outside, and I was being interviewed because I was English.
No way.
The Turkish television. I've never seen it, but again, it was 2007. It's 2008, just slightly pre sort of YouTube days or social media days. But no, it was great fun, man. It was great fun,
I remember. I think it was because didn't they in that season they played Chelsea in the group stage as well? Because I remember a defender scored.
It was definitely knockout. Fenner versus.
No,
Chelsea.
but I'm saying that I know I think they, or maybe the year after they played Chelsea again in the group stage. Because I remember the one
I
of the
remember that one. Yeah.
reasons I remember a Fenner game where this guy I think he was a defender scored an own goal. And also because I think Alex
that was the second leg, the own goal.
No, because I thought
or the keeper made a ever so slightly mistake.
But the one I'm thinking about, I do remember hearing the headlines in Romania where like this guy basically scored an own goal and then he managed to score a goal on the right.
Yeah, is Bobo Romanian? He played for Besiktas.
No,
Bobo. He's going to score today. Because so basically, my last match when I got married, my last match in England was Leeds in League One versus Leyton Orient.
That's a good game.
Officially, the match was a 1-1 result, but Orient scored a winner, and it's on YouTube. You can find it where the ball crosses the line. The striker's goal is back to goal, turns and shoots, and it all happened so fast that the linesman didn't keep up with play. The ball crossed the line. And the goal wasn't given. The keeper scooped it out. So Orient unofficially won at Elland Road 2-1. And I've seen Orient win Aston Villa in the cup and Nottingham Forest in the league. So I've seen Orient win at 2 league European Cup winners. Yeah, Villa and Forest. But and I saw us get the better of Leeds at Elland Road. But officially, the result was 1-1. But it's on YouTube. You can check it. Leeds versus Leyton Orient 2007. That was my last match in England before I got married. I got married, but hadn't left at this stage. Went to Istanbul. The first match I saw in Istanbul was Besiktas versus Liverpool in the Champions League.
Very nice.
Big match. Ended 1-0 on the day. Did it end 1-0 or 2-1? I think Besiktas might have won it 2-1. So that first week I was in Istanbul, there'd been an incident with a carrier and the neighbouring country there was a dispute with, and there was some deaths. So they unveiled a flag. We were behind the goal, and then the terrace to our left, all the Besiktas fans, they unveiled a flag. They call it a tifu nowadays. I've noticed it on some of the social media recently, and it went the whole length of the stand. It must have been like the longest one, like if you measured it, like like a length of the pitch. On the side, and you can find it on YouTube. The noise that night was registered as the largest ever at a football match. 2007, Besiktas Liverpool at Besiktas Stadium. And I'm pretty sure it was 2-1. Besiktas won 2-1. Gerrard got a late penalty consolation, possibly. But Bobo scored. Bobo, he's going to score today. My friend used to sing. And he scored the winner. And
Bobo, no, I think he was Brazilian,
Brazilian, yeah, he probably was. Yeah, because Fenner had
so.
Loads of Brazilians. So
yeah, I think Bobo, because I remember
was the trend. That was the trend.
I remember, I remember seeing the name in.
They get a big deal.
Well, that's because you used to be. I remember it was like a hub where Shakhtar Donetsk used to buy lots of like Brazilian kids, and they were really good. They would go to like top 5 leagues in Europe, and they were kind of like average, they'd go to Turkey or
Yeah, basically, yeah.
with all the respect, but
Make
you know
a
what I
name
mean,
for
right?
themselves,
And then just make some extra money
Move
in
across,
Turkey.
move to one of the top five, as
Yeah.
you say. Yeah,
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 because I
yeah,
was like,
it's-
you either had like Douglas Costa, or if you remember the winger from Shakhtar who went to Bayern Munich, Juventus. Who else? I think Bayern Munich and Juventus.
okay.
Yeah, then
yeah.
Fernandinho, who played for
Fernandinho, yeah.
Man City.
Yeah.
He came from
Oh, okay.
Ukraine.
He came from
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Okay,
Yeah, from Shakhtar
cool.
Donetsk.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Shakhtar had a good team, didn't they? Yeah,
Yeah, so that again, I remember that was like a trend when I was a kid, where you had those like Brazilians, and you almost knew like in 2 years they either gonna go
Gonna go
to Premier League, no, either Premier League or Serie A.
Premier League, unusually, but yeah, maybe more nowadays. Yeah,
Again, it was. I think I was referring to it more in the respect of like they're gonna get like top clubs,
a top
good
five,
club,
top five leagues, yeah.
or they will go to either. Cause I think even because I think some people get, or like, do you remember when China was like the thing where like
Yeah,
people used to go?
before Saudi,
Before Saudi, yeah,
Those
they had like
people,
Drogba
yeah, big money.
and
yeah, Drogba, yeah.
oh my God, what's the name? Oscar from Chelsea.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that was a
big
shocker.
transfer, wasn't it?
That
Yeah.
was such a
A
shocker.
shock, yeah, a shock.
And
And it
Ramirez,
never really took off the Chinese league like the Saudi league has, you know.
but apparently, is because after the, or like right before the whole like the COVID-19, a restriction came in place where they weren't allowed to have as many. So basically, they went on from like
okay.
having many European players, like foreign players, to like
okay.
almost having none. And I think then,
Oh,
and
really?
again,
Okay.
don't quote me on this because I might be incorrect, but I think now it's almost to the case where if you, because like for example, if you wanted to like sign a big name, you'd have to pay a tax on it, or like an extra tax on it.
Right, okay.
And then I think it's also like the case now that
Is that Donald Trump's idea, was it?
yeah, it's a tariff. It's a tariff. But wait, what was the other one? Because I remember reading something about how they had to basically like, even with Oscar again, they had to like let him like run out of contract and go, because the country, I think the government now owns a percentage of every
okay.
club. I think that's what happened.
Okay.
Basically now
foreigners, yeah.
and because of that they can't, or like you're not allowed to invest as much as you want and stuff like this. So it's not the same as it used to be.
Okay.
But yeah, it could have been, because again, I remember when Drogba went there,
Yeah,
it was
big,
huge.
yeah.
Drogba went before Galatasaray.
Oh, okay.
Or was it before or just after?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think he went Chelsea, China, and then Galatasaray. Anyway, look, it's 5:40.
Yeah.
I had I'm only saying this because I know you've got plans for the evening.
It's okay. Time
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay for time.
Cool. Okay, then let's keep going for a bit. Because actually we didn't even touch at all. So you, I mean, obviously you're born with parents. That's how everyone is. But you're talking about like, your sister, right? Because you how many siblings do you have?
Only the one.
Only your sister, right? And then you were talking about them being West Ham fans.
Yeah.
And again, if that was like what, like 80s, 90s, you grew up.
Yeah. 80s,
Then
80s, yeah.
that was still like when they were rough.
Yeah, that was still rough. Yeah, she never went to game. Not
Right,
like me
right.
going to Orient. Yeah.
And then what was it then? Because and also with even the combination with like comedy and football and like all the like the passion and this like energy that you have, because also you like you're talking about like at one point doing 3 jobs at a time, and even now like obviously you're kind of doing the pub quizzes, and then you're doing comedy, and then you're doing like all these other things. It takes a lot of energy.
It does.
How do you recharge? When do you have time to even like sometimes like how do you? Because I think we touched a little bit on the burnout during the Fringe. You were talking about like when you flyer a lot and
Yeah.
but then do you notice it now, or like basically do you notice a burnout straight away, like as it's about to happen, and you preempt it, or are you still in a case of like sometimes it just takes you by surprise, and then you have to kind of switch off, almost like in a when you try to like reboot your computer because it's
I should get a good night's sleep, I suppose. Don't drink too much. Eat lots of fruit. Drink lots of water. Listen to podcasts. That's kind of my routine. But I don't know if that's the answer you need. But
no, I mean
that's kind of how I recharge. Is
Yeah.
just, like eat. Sometimes I go wild and you work late nights, you gig in late nights, you always eat kind of late night food, which is not great. But once in a while, it's a treat, I suppose. Yeah, that's it really, is kind of look after yourself, healthy food and water, not drink too much.
And were you always like this? Were you always kind of like, because you seem quite like, well balanced in the.
Try to be. Yeah.
And have you always been like this? Or would you say that, like, again, like, or is it something that you kind of like learned and got into?
I think you learn it, as you get older. Yeah.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
And
you can do more in the when you're younger, can't you? Like I'd struggle to do 3 proper jobs now. I mean, obviously the jobs I do now are evenings.
yeah.
And I do stuff. Sometimes do stuff in the daytimes.
Yeah.
Basically, I could do a little bit more work in the daytimes, but I don't do much. Yeah.
No, but still,
agency work.
Still though, like it's still. I think that's the thing is I think loads or like maybe not so much anymore, but again, it also depends on the circles of people that you hang out with. But like I remember, before like getting to like hang out with comics or like creatives and stuff like this, who are people who generally have to kind of work on like 3 or 4 things at one time.
Yeah.
That felt to me, it was like an alien thing because coming from someone who's like kind of like you get a job, you get a full-time job, and then that's it. And it's almost like you still work because it's I think it's sometimes
maybe like our parents' generation kind of thing.
Yeah. And then now that's not the case, or at least again, not necessarily. Again, it feels like because of the circles that we're in, because of our line of duty. But now it's kind of like this whole different thing. But then also quite interestingly then, because it means have you always, like, ever since you were like a young adult, since you started working, you've been walking around between places?
Yeah,
like you've been doing
kind
things.
of always avoided 9 to 5, but in many ways I did do 9 to 5.
And was that like
without knowing it,
But was it a conscious choice to avoid 9 to 5s?
It kind of was, but like, say when I was doing like the free jobs, I had like the evening job.
Yeah.
The morning job was covering for people when they was off.
Yeah.
Which, at my dad's place, the big place in the city.
Yeah.
And then the job in the middle was agency.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and so when I was in late 20s, like, and I was good at the job, and the manager knew I was good, and there was like a team of us, and we all used to do the Thursdays. We used to distribute stuff at the train stations.
Yeah.
We were like a little team, and we become good mates. Me and Stuart became good mates, and the other 2 would be people that we knew. We recruited people that we knew, and then it kind of went on to do. With the agency work, we kind of had contracts.
Yeah.
So the contract might be throughout the summer, might be the ice cream throughout the summer, or it might be weekly for a magazine, for like when print was still a thing. Print's not so much a thing nowadays, And then we done promotion. Then we do sort of like, what was the other contract we had? It was the Exchange of Mart at one point, and that was like three days a week. I used to come around this area and do it actually. And then there was so the contracts would be like 3 times a week, 3 days a week. And it's like, it's nice regular money. Plus I've got my evening job on my day.
Yeah.
It's like it's called portfolio work basically, where you're a freelancer, but in creative work you'd be a freelancer. Like your missus was saying earlier, she's a freelancer, but she works between two places. But portfolio work is you're doing, so like Monday you might be doing a podcast, Tuesday you might be doing a voiceover, Wednesday you might be doing a filming somewhere, Friday you're doing your comedy gig, and Saturday you're writing for the radio and that sort of thing. Variations of that portfolio work, so we did the agency work where we'd have a regular contract. Good, the money's coming in, and then that contract would finish. And they say, "Oh, do you want to do some tactical work rather than some contract work?" Or we wait for a contract to come in, and if you're right for it, we'll put you on it. Or do you want to do some tactical work? Tactical would be like, so we've got 3 days work in. We're doing a promotion in supermarkets for a newspaper, and one person's in each supermarket for the whole day trying to sell
as many subscriptions
or it's trying to sell mugs or bottles of or I'm going to say washing machines. It's not a washing machine. It's a sewing machine.
Sewing machine. Yeah.
A sewing machine. Trying to sell.
I was like, why are you looking at it?
Trying to sell sewing machines. My mum wouldn't know how to work that, not me. But good brother, Manchester City sponsor back in the day.
Oh yeah, there was on a t-shirt, no?
Yeah, shirt sponsor. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, not so much recently. Not since they went global. They got bought by the UAE. But yeah, no, so like yeah, like we'd be in supermarkets trying to sell it, and then like because me and Stuart was like the two most trusted people, we became like team managers, and like so I would be the manager. I had a motorbike in them days. It was so much easier to get
No way.
drive around all the supermarkets, especially in this area: Woodford, Ilford, Barkingside, you know, Romford, you know, what's that? Ganshill. What's that one on the flyover? Can't think of it now. Yeah.
What's Leytonstone or flyover?
Not
Which
like
flyover?
yeah, we did Leytonstone,
Yeah.
Leytonstone. Yeah, so I did like so yeah, it was like a team manager sort of thing, and then so you're doing 3 jobs at once, and then we launched the congestion charge with one of our agencies. We had to train all the shops how to sell it on the pay point. Is it pay point, pay zone,
Payzone. Yeah, I know what you mean. The little machine.
Yeah, the little machine. So if you were when the congestion
Mm-hmm.
started, it was £5 in London. Amazing what it is now. So like you're driving in London that day, and it's
Yeah.
before you can automate it.
Yeah.
And so you had to pay if because you might not be in the city every day, or you might not be in the congestion zone every day.
Yeah.
So you'd pop in the shop, and you know, £5 congestion charge. I'm in the zone. I'll packet of fags, a bottle of Lucozade, whatever sort of thing. Sort of thing. So you go in the shop for that reason. But nowadays it's all automated. If you know you're going in, if you know you're going in the city once, you pay it like now I think it's done by the number plate, isn't it? So
I think so.
if you set it up, because my mate's got a car, but he lives in Southend, but if he's in the zone, he knows it's automatically paid. If he's in before the 6 o'clock or whatever what time it finishes nowadays. It used to finish at 6:30. COVID changed everything, didn't it? Really? But so yeah, so we did that. We trained all the shops how to sell.
Yeah.
How to sell the congestion charge on PayZone or PayPal, PayZone, PayPal.
No, PayPal is the
PayPal is the online Elon Musk created,
and then Payzone, and then you have PayPoint.
PayPoint was what it was. PayPoint, yeah, PayPoint was the one. Yeah, so we were training them how to do that.
I think Payzone is
PayZone is like a rival. Yeah,
and
PayZone is like
pink and blue, and then PayPoint is blue and yellow. Yeah,
blue and yellow. That's it. Yeah, a bit like Ukraine.
Yeah,
but yeah. So yeah, that was like a good So like every now and then. So when they say, all right, we're going to train them to use congestion charge, you know, that's like maybe 6 to 8 weeks of work or 3 months of work.
Yeah.
And then you're on to the next thing. The big thing at the moment has been since maybe pre-COVID has been vape. You know, so we're doing a lot.
Yeah,
we're going into shops and either teaching the retailers how to do vape.
Yeah.
Or we're in store all day trying to sell vape to customers. You know. So yeah,
get him off the
you do in between your creative stuff, the comedy and the quizzing and that sort of thing. You know, pays the bills, as it were.
True.
Until comedy takes off.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would
One day, touch wood.
Touch wood. I think it's real wood.
Is it real wood? Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, because that's what my curiosity was like, you know, how do you whether it was like a shift of pattern, but it sounds like you've always been, you know, kind of like just like working between things or like trying to which again it's very I think what is my maybe like 2nd year now, and I'm like this is pretty again I think in one hand it's stressful at times.
Yeah, it is.
You know, because you don't have that control. But then, on the other hand, I think it makes worrying about work, as in like the job itself, much lesser. Because it's like I'm not doing this for long. Or like,
basically, I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah. While I think that's the downside of you know say like a 9 or not even a 9 to 5, but like just a job where it's like full time. You've given your time is almost you give all your energy, you know, to someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of like you still give your energy, but you give a little bit of your energy because then you still have like two other thirds that you have to give to the other, you know, 2 things that you're doing. Anyway, what I wanted to ask you now is well again let's plug like your socials where you're mostly active on social media, whether like if you if you write. Or whatever people find your work, let us know, and also let's plug the show that you're doing, and if you have any like other shows, even the quizzes, Yeah. Where do people find
Quizzes, they'll have to come and find me. I don't really promote them, as obviously, because they just send me where I mean, I do a regular one in Chingford, the Green Man. That's a nice one. If you want to come there, that's a very established one. And one in Islington. They're a good bunch as well. At the Hanbury. So they're the two quizzes. They can find them. They're both regular quizzes. Good fun. Good prizes if they win. My regular comedy show is Comedy by the Canal at the Grand Junction Arms in Harlesden, Acton Lane, NW10 7AD. If you come out of the Bakerloo line, I think there's another line. I cycle mainly on a line bike. So you come out the station, turn right, walk past the biscuit factory, McVitie's Biscuit Factory. And we're still trying to get sponsorship. So big up McVitie's, the best biscuits in the country. If they're listening, the marketing people. Go past the massive McVitie factory, and the pub's on the right hand side. It's by the canal. It's got a great beer garden. Got outdoor summer. It's pretty fat. It's got like lot of little rooms, little cubby holes kind of thing for people if they're canoodling or whatever. So it's a great pub. We're there every Monday. Mondays are funny again. # Mondays are funny again. It's one of the MAFA kind of thing. A little play on the MAGA. MAFA, Mondays are funny again. Comedy by the Canal, MAFA, yeah. Is it MAFA? Yeah, MAFA, MAGA, yeah. MAFA. Comedy by the Canal, every Monday, 8 o'clock, so you can find it on Eventbrite. And our social media is Comedy by the Canal. My personal social media is Topical Comedian. And my Edinburgh show, if you come into Edinburgh this month, 2025, this August, we're in July at the moment. I think it's the 2nd of August. So it's always the first Saturday. The Free Fringe is always the first Saturday till the final Sunday, the third Sunday. So it's the 2nd of August through to the 25th. It might be the 24th, actually. 24th.
Just in case.
The only day off is the 13th because I'm superstitious. So
is it you?
Eh?
You?
Yeah, I'm an Orient fan. Of course I'm superstitious.
Fair enough.
So, it's only the one day off. So it's 5:45 p.m. at the South Sider, which is, I think it's called West Richmond Street. Yeah. Somebody asked me recently. Did a radio show a couple of weeks ago. West Richmond Street, yeah. But, you'll be able to find it on the Fringe app or the PBH app or in the brochure, all three of those. So, Topical Comedian. And this year's show is called Definitely Maybe. As in Oasis decided to come to Edinburgh in the same month as the Fringe, and the already increasingly growing accommodation prices put the prices up even more. Thank you, Oasis, for that. You could have come in July like Taylor Swift did last year, but you chose to do it during the Murrayfield, in their wisdom, chose to put Oasis on in August instead of July. Thanks for that, Mark.
How many are they only doing one night?
They're only doing 2, I think. Maybe two, yeah. And oddly enough, one of our audience on Monday at Grand Junction, Comedy by the Canal, I said something random about Edinburgh, and she said, are you doing Edinburgh Fringe? I said, yeah. And I had a flyer from last year because I'm on at the same venue and the same time. So it's just the dates that differ ever so slightly. And she said, I'm coming to Edinburgh to see Oasis. And it's like, come and see the show. She said, I want to see some comedy, and I'll come and see you. That's great. Because ideally, I'm happy for anybody to come to my show in Edinburgh. Tourism Reform probably won't enjoy my show, but I'm happy for anyone to come to my show if they're going to listen to topical comedy for an hour. I don't think the Oasis demographic will come and see a lot of comedy. I don't think they will. I hope they do. But I don't think that's why they're coming to the. If they visit, the sensible people will say, while we're in Edinburgh, why don't we come and see some Fringe shows? I don't think what's Murrayfield, 80,000 maybe. They're doing 2 days. Most of those people will live in Edinburgh or surrounding parts of Edinburgh, Scotland. I don't think a lot of those people come into. It's weird that we meet someone in London saying, I'm coming to Edinburgh. I'm seeing Oasis in Edinburgh. Brilliant, fantastic. In fact, someone at my pub quiz has also said that. So, like Irish people who live in England, in London. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that the people that go to the Oasis concerts will go and see some comedy as well. Hopefully, come and see my show. Maybe this impression of us that we have of Oasis people coming to Edinburgh will be boozed up in their 20s. I don't know.
I don't know. This is actually not because I've seen a few people coming from Cardiff this weekend.
Yeah,
and being like in central London, but then I've seen loads of tweets and like loads of like social media stuff from the gigs.
Yeah,
and I think there are going to be two types of people who actually who might be up for comedy, people who actually grew up with Oasis.
Yeah, like, maybe the older crowd,
like lived,
maybe
like live Oasis.
Almost. Yeah.
Or there will be, which I think I've seen it in London over the weekend. It was quite frustrating on my part-time retail job. Like the people like in like early like 20s who grew up with like the Spotify Oasis.
Right. Okay.
Who are going to have the T-shirt and the hat. They have no idea what the lyrics meant. They don't know. I think maybe besides of that documentary thing that they did, the Supersonic. I don't know much more than that. So again, I think it could be a combination of both. But I also feel like, again, because I've seen like loads of people who actually, I think the one thing that really, and I think it was quite, I don't know what's your take on this, but I think it's quite nice to see it in England. After I've been like stressing out for a few months and stuff like this, is almost like you feel the joy of the older Oasis fans that it kind of like things are going back to like normal, I want to say, or like like kind of I'm talking about like a post pre-COVID I think like where you saved up some money, you're going to a concert, you're seeing a band that you love. Because I think it's cool when say like in the international artists come, like you have international festivals, but again I feel like that's more for like the newer audiences, or it's even for people who are meant to be tourists in the cities, that they come, say like when people come from, I'm giving an example, Germany, they're like, oh, I'm going to watch Taylor Swift in London because it's really cool. But now with the Oasis, it's almost like, again, the whole generation of people who actually grew up when Oasis, or like lived with Oasis being the band because they were still out and live and performing together. It's almost like they get to relive that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Which is much more like chiller. That's why I kind of, that's one of the things the nice things I've noticed in the last week. Even like over social media, I don't know, but again, I filter out a lot of stuff now anyway. But even like I see people kind of being a bit like, oh, there is hope, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no.
All it took was for Liam to take Noel back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard any trouble at the gigs or
no. I mean,
surrounding or now. It's interesting you say Cardiff. You saw people in London who had been, and that. I saw some people wearing Oasis merchandise at the weekend. So it's like
so they are the people who came from the
maybe
Cardiff doing a bit of like London tour, and then
Cardiff's not far, is it? And if that was it, and when you were sitting on the internet for like 8 hours trying to get tickets, if Cardiff was the only option, you'd take it. Probably that's what's happened with the people taking the Edinburgh tickets.
Well, I think also because it was the first one though. So that could.
Oh, okay, no, definitely.
Because they started in Cardiff, so if
right. So do you think if you were sitting, like you lived in London and you were sitting on your laptop waiting for tickets, and you got to the front of the queue, do you think you'd rather take Cardiff because it's the first gig of the night, the first tour of the comeback, first gig of the comeback, or would you rather hold on for London, which is like the 8th gig of the comeback? I don't know.
I wouldn't care that much, but I think again now, and I like Oasis not enough to pay
that price.
Like I have a limit on like price tickets.
Yeah.
But I would. It depends, because I could go like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna make a nice weekend of it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm normally not. I normally like to just sleep in my own bed. I like to come home. Like I'm not,
for sure.
I like traveling, and I'm a curious person. I like to like read a lot and stuff like this. But I don't like the traveling itself. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I
makes
hate
sense, makes
parking. I
sense,
hate
yeah.
taking taxis to airports or even bus, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like. I mean, I don't mind flying, but it's just that I have to be cramped up now for a couple hours. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this kind of stuff. So again, with that in mind, I don't know. But then I also see this is the thing. I think people who get it like rich kids, you know, and through resellers, they would
Yeah.
love to go like, oh, I've been to the first Oasis
Yeah, of
concert
course.
at the reunion.
Yeah,
And then, like you said, you again, but that's the thing. You have the other demographic, which is kind of like, you just make a nice, day day off in Cardiff or like a weekend off in Cardiff. You know, take the missus, take the kid, whatever
exactly. Yeah,
your
definitely.
cup of tea is, and
Yeah,
then
a
you.
lot of people did that. Yeah,
And also, Cardiff. I think Cardiff is a nice city. I really
yeah, it's nice. Yeah, yeah.
so, but again, I think again like that's the thing with Oasis, and especially when you see because I've seen like loads of foreign people going to watch Oasis.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Again,
for sure.
resell, like with huge prices. It's almost like if you remember the Euros in the the COVID Euros.
Yeah,
I think it was
2021.
like
Yeah,
600 quid and stuff like
2021.
that. That's pretty
Yeah.
much where you're going now,
Yeah.
for like an Oasis resale. And then again, there are people with loads of money who will do that, and also because they have the money, they don't care where the gig is. Because they'll happily, it's like, oh, I have to take another flight or maybe like hire a private car to drive me to Cardiff and back.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, well, if they've got the money,
Yeah.
definitely,
So that's how I think Edinburgh is going to be like. Because it's a good, although I have a beef with Edinburgh because I feel like it's this place where you either walk up the hill or you walk down a hill. Like I've never
like that. Yeah,
yeah, and I get tired so fast. I remember when I went there, I was like, "This is fucking ridiculous!" Like,
it's exhausting when you've been there for 25 days,
and it's almost like, how much under? Like, it's almost like you're going under the level of the sea, and then the top of the Himalayas, and then you're back on the frigging level of the sea. So with stuff like, well, again, it's a beautiful city. I think it's nice in the summer. It's going to be nice in August. So again, I can see both scenarios playing out. But especially now because I think and they managed to milk it well, the people who work with like the Oasis management and to advertise it because I think it got busy before if they even sold the tickets. Before the ticket got sold, they already made it sound like, oh, this is going to be huge and you must take a ticket straight away. So then I think, yes, loads of people must have panicked,
but yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, Pete, this has been such a pleasure.
It's been fun, yeah.
I will unlock this. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
And I'll from now I'll hope to have you back because I still think we've got loads to cover.
I think we have, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Thank you.
Part 2.
Yeah,
thanks, mate.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to the episode. Make sure you check out Peter's work, and if you were nearby, make sure you. Well, actually, even if you're from London, I've done his Monday night, the new material, and it's a good night. It's very supportive. I don't know if you're listening even as someone who wants to try comedy, that's a good place to do, to try out for the first time. And also, even if you just want to have a chill night, and if you live nearby, I'd definitely say pop in. And again, if you're in Edinburgh, check out his show. And that's it from me, Pikal and Sarma. Until next week, stay skillful. And goodbye.